for those who are coming back for their second time and also in newcomers, thank you so much for joining us for our second informational session for the Janssen Howard Fellowship. I will ask that everyone remain on mute during this time and to leave your questions either in the chat, which we'll address at the end of the presentation. So yeah, just if you can make sure that you unmuted, and yeah, we will address any questions you have at the end. So for our agenda today, we have an introduction of our panelists. We'll also go into who we are at Janssen and also who we are at Howard. We'll have a program structure as well as a fellowship overview for you guys to understand a little bit more of the fellowships that we offer. And then we'll go into the eligibility criteria as well as application requirements. And then we'll give a few quick tips for you guys, being that you are probably in the process of applying for these fellowships. So just some things that we picked up along the way and things that we think are very important for you guys to know. And then we'll open it up for a Q&A. All right, so I'll lead with let Dr. Olajide introduce herself, as she is the first one on the list.
Thank you, Amina, and thank you everyone for being here. Those that have been here before, I'm looking forward to your questions at the end. Those that are joining us, we're so thrilled that you're here because we know this is an exciting time for you in your career. My name is Dr. Rosemary Alajide. I am the project coordinator of the fellowship programs at Howard, and Howard is my alma mater. So I'm a pharmacist by training, and I also have 10 plus years of industry experience. So I'm really passionate about this space and passionate about contributing to the success of this program with Janssen. And, there are others that I'll introduce later that are part of the fellowship leadership team. But at this point, I will pass it on to Vicky to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Viraya White. I also go by Vicky. So I'm the second year fellow of Janssen and Howard Scientific Affair program. I'm so excited to share our information about our unique programs. And I'm the alumni of St. Louis College of Pharmacy. So anyone from Midwest, here we go. And next I will pass to Amina to introduce herself.
Thanks, Vicky. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amina Nantambu Jones. My alma mater is UT Health and Science Center, so anybody that's down south are here to represent. I am also a pharmacist by background after graduation and was very interested in broadening my horizon and doing non-traditional paths. So I was very excited to join the Howard family, and it's just felt like home ever since. So I'm really happy to share our program with you guys today, and I'll pass it along to Daisy.
Thank you, Amina. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adeze Anthony Wise. I'm the first year Janssen Howard Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence Fellow. I am the inaugural fellow, so the first ever within this functional area with the company, since everyone is sharing their alma mater. I'm from Chapman University. I'm from California. Was really excited to get involved in regulatory affairs, drug safety, things of that nature, just things that kind of reflect patient advocacy. And I, getting the opportunity to do that in a space like Howard, where they also equip you with background information on regulation, on policy, I thought was a really unique opportunity. And I really wanted to, embrace that and delve right into it and really get a good understanding of that before I enter into the pharmaceutical space. And that's why I'm here today. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my experience with you all this evening.
All right, thank you so much, panelists. All right, so we'll go into a little bit about who we are at J&J or Janssen. We like to say that we are pioneers, we are focused, and we are partners. We say that we are partners because we have over 40,000 people around the world who show up every day to achieve the unimaginable. We say that we are focused because our primary focus is the patient. We have roughly 6 areas of medicine where we recognize there is a high need. There's also compelling science, and there's an opportunity to make a difference in those patients' lives of who are affected by those disease states. And lastly, we say that we are partners. One, we understand that in order to make the greatest impact, we have to collaborate, not just with the experts that are out in the field or externally facing, but also with our internal partners and with our teams at the company, because we know that without each other, we're not able to continue serving patients and making groundbreaking discoveries. On the slide, we have a few of our recognized efforts, being that we have over 18 medications that are on the WHO Essential Medication List. We're rated 1 out of only 2 AAA rated companies globally. And there's a slew of other things on here that I'm not going to go into every detail, but it truly recognizes that J&J does not fall short for being one of the top pharmaceutical companies in the world. And this slide here just briefly breaks down the specific therapeutic areas that our portfolio covers, being cardiovascular and metabolic diseases, immunology, infectious disease, and vaccines, neuroscience, oncology, and of course, the therapeutic area that's near and dear and close to me and Vicky's heart, being pulmonary hypertension. And I'll pass it off to Dr. Olajide to talk to you guys about Howard.
What's so great about Howard is that we've been around for such a long time, and 1867 is a very long time ago. So we were established as an inclusive institution, and we continue to be inclusive, and we have that at the forefront of what we do. The College of Pharmacy is a premier pharmacy school. We focus on teaching, learning, research, and we really want folks to shine. So we promote leadership skills as your student, and also we promote leadership skills outside of the pharmacy school. And we're truly focused on service. I think some of you may have heard excellence in truth and service. That is one of our motto, and we truly do that not only on our community level, we do that globally. We have many partnerships, and even our students are able to do rotations outside of the United States. So we try to make sure that the work that we're doing impacts our local and our global communities. The mission of the College of Pharmacy is to provide pharmacy education of excellent quality to students that have high academic scholarship and leadership potential. So that word leadership comes back. We want to make sure that we're paying particular emphasis on the recruitment, retention, and graduation of promising African Americans, as well as other ethnically diverse minority students. So we truly want to make sure that we have students that are of high caliber, that we can grow and mold into leaders of our communities. And we want to make sure that they excel in their scholarly activities. So this College of Pharmacy is an HBCU. It is the #1 HBCU pharmacy school in the nation. So I'm very proud that it is my alma mater. Next slide. And we wouldn't be here with a fellowship program without our partners. We have over 13 pharmaceutical partners as seen on this slide. And I can tell you that this work started in 2012. So it's been over 10 years of work trying to ensure that we have top leading companies to partner with, and also to have our fellows participate in hands-on training with. So we're truly grateful to our partners. We're also partners with hospitals and institutions across the nation. And I think that next slide probably has a list of them. Let's see. So there's another slide that's not on here, but I can quickly mention that not only are we partners with the pharma companies that you saw on that slide, but we're also partners with Children's Hospital in DC, Georgetown Hospital, the FDA. We're working on additional partners so that when we have our fellows come through, they have options to customize their experiences. That's not specific to scientific affairs, but we have regulatory affairs postdocs that are participating in courses. We have other components in case you're interested in taking classes at the law school. And I know that we'll go into some of that in the other slides. But I just want to let you all know that you will have an immersive experience in your postdoc at Howard and Janssen. You will have a lot of projects to work on that are well thought out based on the business needs and also the experiences you want to gain. And we put a lot of thought into supporting our fellows. So you'll have chance to meet the current fellows and network with them, not only at Janssen and also, the other companies that I shared in the previous slide. So I'll pass it on to, I think, Amina or Vicky.
All right.
Thank you.
Amina, you're on mute.
Sorry, can you hear me? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just a breakthrough of our program leadership. Feel free to take a snapshot on the slide. You could probably follow a few of these people on LinkedIn. You never know, they may be your future preceptor or manager in this fellowship or even potential opportunities to come. So this is just a breakdown of our wonderful leaderships that have guided us in regards to our fellowship. So we just want to recognize them. And I'll pass it off to Vicky for the breakdown for the Janssen Scientific Affairs Fellowship Program.
All right. Next slide, please, Amina. All right. Hi, everyone. So I wanted to start with the Janssen Scientific Affairs Fellowship Program. So this program, of course, we between Janssen and Howard University, and the current fellow is myself, the second year, and the first year is Amina. And the timeline for this incoming fellow will start from July 2024 and end on June 2026. In this fellowship program, we have 4 rotations. The first one will be medical information. The second one will be payer and health system. The third one will be medical affairs. And the last one will be values and evidence scientific engagement, or many of you might know in the term of HEOR, or health economic outcome research. So this is why our program is unique. So within 2 years, you will have a chance to rotate within 4 functional areas. Next slide, please. So talk more about the program structures. So this program will be located in Titusville, New Jersey, and the pharmaceutical and the therapeutic area focus on pulmonary hypertension and retinal disease. About the program timelines. So it starts from June 2024 until December 2024. The incoming fellow will start with 2 teams at the same time. So they are medical information and payer and health system. And the next one from January 2025 until the December of 2025. The incoming fellow will start with 3 teams at the same time, which are medical information, payer and health system, and medical affairs. And the last 6 months from January until June 2026, the fellow will rotate with V&E teams. Regardless the overlap of the rotation, the overall experience that the fellow will gain is equal 12 months of medical information and also 12 months with payer and health system, 6 months with med affair, and 6 months with V&E. Next slide, please. To talk more about each rotation. So let's start with medical information first. So what this team does, so this team is a team that provides scientific information to healthcare providers such as doctors, nurses, pharmacists who call at our call center. So this team will be the one who provide answer for them. And not only that, this team also review proactive and reactive promotional materials. Similarly to the next rotation, payer and health system, they also provide scientific information. However, their target customer will be different. So this team target customer would be focused on PBM or pharmacy benefit managers, Medicare, Medicaid, or including compendia such as Lexicom and Mycomedics. And the third rotation will be medical affairs. So in Janssen, medical affairs has 2 big teams. The first one will be field medical affairs that many of you might know in the term of MSL or medical science liaison. So this team will be the team of MSL. But there's also another team that called home office medical affairs, will be the team that the incoming fellow will work closely with. So what this team doing? So this team will planning strategy regarding our products, including indication, publication, conference, or even clinical trials. And the last rotation is about values and evidence scientific engagement. So this team also generates scientific evidence. However, the evidence will be different from medical information because the evidence will focus on HEOR data to help healthcare decision makers to make a decision in formulary decision or any other aspect. Next slide, please. So I will pass along to Adesi to talk more about her program.
Hello, everyone. So now on to the part where we're going to be discussing the Global Regulatory Policy and Intelligence Department of the overall program. Can I have you go to the next slide, please? All right, so just to give a breakdown, we have an academic affiliation with Howard University, but specifically with the GRPI program, we'll be spending 6 months at the law school. We'll be spending time getting an understanding, a foundation of legislation, regulation, getting a better grasp of legal writing, as well as getting an understanding of essentially how policymaking happens in this space, just to kind of provide that foundation before you enter into the other departments of this or sections of this overall program. It will be a 2-year program, so from July 2024 to June 2026. And then I'll give a breakdown of the overall components that exist within the program itself. But looking specifically at the rotational areas, as I mentioned briefly before, we have the Howard University components for the first 6 months, the Janssen GRPI team that you'll be spending a year with, and then the FDA component, which will be a time where you get to get a better understanding of federal law and essentially how pharmaceutical companies can make drugs safe and effective for patient use while also abiding by regulatory standards that the US government upholds for these companies. Next slide, please. All right, so looking at program structure, I've already touched base. It is a pretty simple structure. So once again, starting off with the Howard University component, from summer to the end of the year of 2024, then top of the year of 2025, we'll be starting with the GRPI team. And then that last 6 months or the first 6 months of the 2026 year, you'll be spending time at the FDA, applying all the knowledge that you've gained during the year and a half into that federal agency space. Next slide, please. Just some general pointers as to what fellows can look forward to when gaining or jumping into this space. External advocacy, specifically regarding regulatory authorities, in relation to the FDA component, where you'll be able to spend time understanding artificial intelligence and how that incorporates itself into the regulatory affairs process, the drug development process, and really optimizing regulatory frameworks for a variety of disease states and therapeutic areas. You'll get the opportunity to improve your communication skills through identifying, documenting, coordinating, and communicating with regulatory agencies and building policy that would reflect the updates that these federal agencies are holding. Companies like Janssen too, to make sure that all products being produced and shared into the market are indeed safe and effective for the use of patients to actually improve their quality of life and their health. And then specifically looking at the scientific engagement, you get the opportunity to work cross-functionally with various teams. For regulatory affairs, a huge major team that you spend time with is the drug safety space, the pharmacovigilance space, where you essentially get to work with making sure that once products are in market, the side effects aren't outweighing the benefits that come with those products. And so regulatory affairs and the PV space really work hand in hand. And you'll get to see that as you spend time with the GRPI team during the year at Janssen. And then I'll have us go to the next slide.
All right, so a little bit more on the requirement overview. So eligibility requirement for applying for our fellowships would be at least having a PharmD within the last 3 years or an expected PharmD following the graduation of May 2024 from an accredited college of pharmacy. Our application requirements are the following, being a CV or resume, a letter of intent, 3 letters of recommendation, and your transcripts, whether it be official or unofficial. Any future details that you may have or any inquiries, feel free to email them at the following email address, or you can visit us directly at the Pharmacy Howard Fellowship, where we have a list of programs, not just our own, but others within the Howard umbrella. And we also have our brochure posted on IPHO for further details or any information that you guys witnessed during this informational session. And then, of course, this is a QR code that will take you straight to the application portal if you have not already applied. I will also put the link in the chat so that you guys have access to that. But like I said, the portals are open and please feel free to apply. And then I believe I will pass off to Daisy for our next step, which would be quick tips on writing a letter of intent and the interview process.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Mina, for the transition. So kind of spending time in these information session spaces, a lot of the times fellows, applicants, or fellow potential fellows have questions regarding the LOI writing process as well as the interview process. And so we kind of came together to collaborate and come up with some quick tips and some just easy reminders when going through that process to help improve and make effective and efficient that process. So they're effective, right? Your LOIs are effective, that they show your qualifications and that you're ready and prepped for the interview process, because it can be very time consuming, very strenuous, and the more insight you have, the better. So we'll just go into the next slide for the LOI writing tips. All right, so when constructing the letter of intent, a huge tip would be to do your research on the fellowship program and the company. Amina did a wonderful job just breaking down the credo of Janssen. And it's really important to make sure that the companies that you're applying to truly do align with your personal and professional goals and aspirations and your ultimate value system. You'll be representing these companies, working for these companies, and so you want to really ensure that they're reflective of what you believe, so you're not having that sort of conflict of interest when you get there, which sometimes people do have that experience. And then same thing with Howard University as well. Dr. Lajide spent some time breaking down the credo, the mission, and the vision statement of Howard University. And it's really important to be able to incorporate that into your letter of intent to really give that holistic sense of your why statement, which is really huge when discussing why this program is the perfect fit for you. The next step would be to introduce yourself and why you're writing. So for a lot of us, it would be we're final year PharmD candidates. There might be PhD candidates out there who are trying to apply, and then just giving a brief explanation in your introductory paragraph as to why this specific program interested you, and just to make sure that intro paragraph is a hooking one, is an engaging one, because reviewers of applicants are going through a lot, and so if you can make that process enjoyable and easy and inviting, you'll be buying in their ear, and they'll be more enticed to really want to engage with you as an applicant. Next step would be just to make it brief and concise. Usually letter of intents run about a page. If you go a little bit over, that's okay, but we want to keep it as concise as possible, because once again, there's so many different applications coming through, and you want to make sure that that you have the attention of your reader. And a great way to do that is by making sure that you are brief in your writing. So that would be an important step as well. A next really important step would be to really highlight and underscore relevant skills and notable experiences. This is really important because as pharmacy students, as PhD candidates, right, there's so many things that we've done throughout our career that is enticing, that's interesting to know about. However, if it's not really relevant or highlighting the qualifications or requirements that this specific program is looking for, you might kind of be missing or like not really be aligning with what this program is looking for. And usually there are like kind of like buzzwords or like keywords that people are looking for when reading. And so if you can look at the qualifications that a program is asking for and really tie in your experience with those things. It will just allow the reader to know that you truly are a perfect match for the program you're applying for. And then I have a separate little section here that says to not rehash your resume. The resume, is a quick list of your experiences, but this LOI is really meant to bring your experiences to life, to animate, to bring activity, action, and, to your experiences, to those kind of two-dimensional words on a page. And it's really to help the reader visualize you operating in these spaces, not just to kind of just list your experiences, which the resume already kind of functions as. And so really take the letter of intent writing process as a time to make your experiences three-dimensional. And then last but not least, I kind of mentioned this throughout the other four bullet points, but create a hooking opening paragraph, right? Make sure that you're really reeling in your reader, and then inviting closing paragraph as well. Reiterating your why statement, talking about looking forward to the interview process, and just making yourself as memorable as possible. And so those are some key things to keep in mind when writing a letter of intent. And then the next slide will kind of show a breakdown of what these components look like on a page. And so here we have pretty self-explanatory, the date, company name, and then just looking at the writing, the structure itself. As I mentioned before, introducing yourself in that first paragraph and your why statement, diving into the details that relate to the projects that you've worked on, to really kind of bring life to those resume experiences and qualifications that you do have as an applicant. And then that last paragraph, reiterating your why statement, and just letting the reader know that you're looking forward to engaging with them, and kind of having that call of action moment at the very end. And then, of course, thanking the reader, thanking the program director that you're writing to, and ending with the professional close. And then I'll have us go to the next slide regarding interview tips. So for this section, once again, research that is key. It shows interest, it shows engagement, and it shows a desire to want to be committed to the space that you're going to be going into. And so I know it looks like you're someone that is committed to this space. And so that would be very, very key during the interview process. And then next bullet point would be understanding the job description or the program expectations. A great way to do this is to look at the brochure, look at what the job or the fellowship expectations are, and to really highlight experiences that reflect this throughout your interview process, which then links to my third bullet point here, which talks about the preparation of your answers. There are so many beautiful resources out there. LinkedIn has beautiful resources that kind of give common interview questions to really give you an understanding as to what is to expect when going into these interview panels. Tell me about yourself questions, things of that nature. These are all things to kind of keep in mind and prep for, and even write out before you get to that panel. The next kind of preparation method or technique that's used is something we've all heard about before, or if you haven't heard about it, here's an introduction to it. The STAR method, which is essentially a good systematic way to break down those experiences that you really do believe apply to the questions or the behavioral questions that the interviewers ask you. And I just have a little tip here as well that says practice makes improvement. Perfection can be a high and lofty goal, but the more you do something, the more comfortable you get at it, and the more you improve on it. And so just a quick word of advice to all of us as we're preparing for interviews to begin with the Howard process or the Howard program. Second to last bullet point here is to know your CV and resume. There's a lot, once again, that we've done. But it's really key to know it because you never know what a interviewer will ask you about. It could be something that you've done in your first year of pharmacy school, and if you've forgotten and they bring it up and they're interested in knowing, and you don't have substantive things to share and details that they may be looking for, that might come off a little bit like you're unprepared. And so it's really important to just refamiliarize yourself with all those things that you've accomplished throughout your pharmacy school career, so that when questions are presented to you about your various experiences, that you are prepared to answer them thoroughly and in a way that can allow the interviewer to kind of picture you in those spaces. And then last but not least here is to dress to professionally impress lighting is important, making sure that you are dressing the part is important, and just presenting yourself in a way that can be received in a manner that, you know, they can know that, okay, this person is ready for business, this person is professional and ready to really get involved with our company in a way that we are proud of, in a way that we want to kind of be presented as. So that's kind of one more key as well regarding the interview process. And then quick little tips on the side: be on time, body language is key, maintaining good posture, making good eye contact, showing enthusiasm. All these things are just little kind of cherries on top to make your presentation during that interview process as delightful and desirous as possible. And so those are some things to kind of keep in mind when you are prepping for the interviews. And that is all for me. We're going to go to the next slide for any further questions that we may have. Feel free to drop them in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself. Turn on your camera so we can, you know, put a name to the face. And yeah, just engage, and we'll be here to answer any questions you may have. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening. And yeah, we're just here to engage with y'all.
Now, Daisy, that was awesome.
Thank you.
That was great.
A lot of information.
A lot of information, but very relevant. And I'm so glad that you actually put on there, you know, the different snaps of the LOI so that people could see it. So guys, thank you for including those tips. Thank you for thinking about, you know, having that information at the end. One point about the STAR method, it's very common, but folks get really nervous. However, you should go through the typical standard questions and start to write out your scenarios and practice them. And one note to keep in mind is it's great to understand the STAR, but also keep there's a relevance R at the end that's not really, it's not well known, but think about the relevance. Usually when somebody is asking you a question about a challenge and wants you to share what you've done and the results, they also want to understand, why is it relevant to the question? Why are you sharing that information? So this is, I would screenshot this. I would screenshot the next slide because I think they're very helpful. Thank you.
Yes. And I would piggyback on that. Just some key things that Adeze brought up, which are like truly nuggets of gold. Number one, anything on your CV is fair game. So if you aren't prepared to talk about that bullet point as if you did it yesterday with confidence, do yourself a favor. Do not put it on there, because it will, you're gonna be like a deer in headlights if they ask you a question. Then you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I put that on my CV. Anything on your CV is fair game. And then as for the STAR method, everything about the STAR method is supposed to flow as if you're like retelling a story. But the most important thing of the STAR method that I've been taught, that my mentor taught me, was results. Results implicates what the result of what you did, the effect of what you did. How did what you do serve the team or allow you to accomplish? Like, if you don't spend too much time on situation and task, the bulk of your talking and answering this question needs to be, honestly, maybe the action you took, but specifically what was the result of that. So when you're practicing your responses to some of the generic questions that you may find through some of the resources that Daisy mentioned, time yourself, write out a script or make bullet points, and really ask yourself, okay, am I really effectively portraying, you know, what I did, how this resulted, what was the impact of it. So yeah, that's something that I had to practice a lot on. So I really want to drive that point home to everyone.
Yeah, and I want to add on a little bit about like the letter of intent. So it's important to like customize letter of intent. So do not use like a template of letter of intent, especially our programs have rotation. So you're not like, you have to like persuade us why we have to hire you, why you will fit perfectly with our full rotation. That is the key. Yeah. And also like maybe some type of interview question that they ask about your weakness. So that is not too like afraid of it. You can talk to your weakness, but what the key learning, that's how you learn from it and how you improve your weakness. That is the key, that what we're looking for. from the
Yeah.
interview question. Yeah,
Yeah, we understand that you guys are students. No one's walking into this thinking that you guys are gonna be
perfect. Yeah,
expert, be perfect and expert. But the whole point is that throughout your pharmacy career, either through your leadership or your research or anything you've done, you have some key qualities that you can leverage and that you want to showcase to the panel that you're interviewing that you can leverage to be an asset to that team. So just try to find things that align with what we're looking for in the fellowship in regards to roles and responsibilities and how you can pull that out in your interview, your letter of intent, as well as your resume. But other than that, if anyone needs me to go back to a slide, if they need a screenshot, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to stop sharing and I will open the floor for you guys to ask
Amina, do you
questions.
want to share like the page of our email in
Oh,
case they want to
yes.
contact? Yeah.
Yes.
If you guys have like further questions, thinking about any question after this, feel free to email us. Yeah. Or
And I,
link or like connect us on LinkedIn. We're happy to do that too.
Absolutely. Yes.
and I know up front, we had a few questions from one from Shylin and one from patients. So, Shylin, we can kick it off with you
Hmm.
and answer your question. Remind me, I think you were asking about timelines for getting interviews and getting further information.
Yes, that's what it was about.
So you are actually top of the list. Your name has been um, kind of, seen in different spaces. So we are looking to reach out to you very soon, if not today, tomorrow, because we have folks that are doing screening calls. So look out for that very soon. And I know that you have your documents in and you have your LOIs in. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
And Patience, you had another question?
Yeah, I think my question now thinking about it, I think it's going to be two part. The first question was about giving like the interview circle. I was like, I know it's more than one, but I don't know how many interview when you guys are trying to weed out, the best fit candidate for each position. So I just wanted to know how many rounds of interview, and also, how do we keep track of for a letter, letter of recommendation to see if everything has been turned in? Because I don't want to be pestering uh, my
Mhm.
preceptor or regard if they're turning in. I don't know if there's a way we could check to see if our letter of recommendation has been turned in.
Yeah, quick question for you. So I guess to answer your first question, we can answer specifically for Janssen. On the Howard end, what we're doing is we're contacting and doing pre-screening and screening. So we'll have that step, depending on what your interests are, because you might have selected multiple positions, then it will determine, how many rounds of interviews you're going to go through, right? And I know Vicky and Amina can speak to scientific affairs, and I'll let them do that, and I'll let Azizi speak to regulatory intelligence.
Yeah, I can speak on behalf of scientific affairs. So like, of course, if you submit application, we review all your application and your potential candidate, then you will get a call from Dr. Olajide for the first round screening. And if you pass to another round, so for Janssen Scientific Affair, we have only one round, but this interview will be with all the panels, all the directors, including presentation. So be prepared for that round.
And we do post your soft screening phone call with Dr. Olajide and Howard. Um, we do give you time to prepare for that presentation. So it's not like, you're going to get a phone call from Dr. Olajide and then you'll get an email saying, hey, your interview with us is tomorrow. No, we'll give you time because we are going to give you a topic in which we want you to present on, and we do want to give you adequate time to, research and prepare and create the slide deck. And again, this presentation is, I think the breakdown is only 10 minutes. So it's not like you're, having an extensive presentation to present. But yeah, we do give you at least a week or 2 weeks from us that you would know we will invite you for a presentation and interview with us.
Yeah,
And,
and just to
and
add to
one
that,
Oh,
question,
go ahead.
just one quick question. Patients, send an email to pharmacy.fellowship@howard.edu after this. Because I don't specifically see your application in Workday. So send an email following this so that we can make sure that we've located it. Go ahead,
Okay, I
Daisy.
will. Thank you.
and I'll put
Okay.
the email in the chat as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We're getting all that information in the chat for the regulatory affairs, policy, and intelligence component. We'll have the same initial pre-screening call, and then we'll go ahead. And I think this is still up in the air, but we also want to kind of have the Howard department kind of get to know the fellow as well. And so there likely may be a virtual Zoom interview where you'll be interacting with the Howard leadership, Howard program leadership, and then once you pass that stage of interviewing, you'll then go on to meet the GRPI team, where you'll be engaging with the senior director, Kim Olson, and her team, and you'll get some questions. For Reg Affairs, though, there's no presentation, and so it'll just be the traditional behavioral questions and then just Q&A afterward for any questions you have for the GRPI team as well.
And
I have a question. Hi, my name is Alan. I
oh,
am
sorry, I
I'm
think we
sorry,
had
I think I
someone.
see
Yeah,
hand
we'll
raised
get to you,
first.
Alan.
Yes.
Sorry, I think. Yeah, I don't want to pronounce your name incorrectly, so please correct me. Is it Chine Miriam?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay.
But she can go ahead and ask her question.
Oh no, well we're keeping in track of like who raises their hand first. So I just noticed that after patients, you had your hand raised. So go ahead and ask your question. We have time to go through everyone's question.
Okay. Hi, good evening. My name is Chinamiri Mukara. I'm a P4 at the University of North Texas. I do know that you just put in the chat that if you have any questions regarding the application, we should go ahead and send it. My question is actually regarding the applications, more in terms of the letter of intent.
Mhm.
Who do we actually address that to? Do we address it to Dr.
Etienne.
Ajide?
You address that to Dr. Etienne and we can put
Okay.
his information in chat so you can see that.
I'll
Okay.
do that for you.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think that was my question. Thank you.
Absolutely. Should I, Dr. Elijah, should I also put down like the college information as well? Like, because I know in the header there's also like the Howard's address and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it should be Dr. Etienne, then the address. And I think Kathy has just dropped it into the
Oh, she
chat
did. Oh,
for
great.
us.
Thanks, Kathy.
She's doing it right now.
You're the best. Thank you. So yeah, okay. And then is it Alan or Alan? Okay, yeah. Yes.
Sorry about that. I did
No,
not know like they were raising hands. I didn't mean to
yeah.
interrupt.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Yes, it's Alan. I'm a P3 student. I'm actually a final year student because my program's a 3-year program. I call myself a P3, but I'm P3/P4. My college, I'm from Appalachian College of Pharmacy in Virginia. I have a few questions about your program, especially the interview part. You said there's only one interview, and is it after the pre-screening, there's only one round of interview where you're presenting the work as well? How long is the interview? And in addition to questions about the resume, does the presentation, like, is the
Mhm.
presentation particular to the therapeutic area that we're applying to?
Yeah, so I feel like there's two parts to your question. So in regards to length, I can speak for scientific affairs. Interview is a total of 1 hour, but within that 1 hour, there's going to be like the introduction of the team, the introduction of yourself. Then we'll open it up to the team to ask you questions, either STAR method questions or questions in regards to your CV. Then you do a 10-minute presentation on the topic that we would have emailed you at least 2 weeks prior. You would present it for 10 minutes, and then it would be 5 minutes
For your
um,
questions.
for
Yeah.
for us to ask you questions about your presentation, and then there'll be 5 minutes for you just to ask any pending questions regarding the fellowship overall. So added up, it's a total of an hour. And it may seem like a lot, but really, when I tell you, it's gonna be quick. Once you get past the end, I promise, I can't even tell you what we did in my interview because I was on a robot mode. So don't feel overwhelmed because it's 1 hour, because personally for me, I applied to multiple fellowships outside of course this one, because don't put all your eggs in one basket, but I had interviews where there were like at least 3 rounds, but like they were like 3 rounds of like 10-15 minutes. And for me, honestly, if I'm just being honest, I like one long one and be done, and that's it. So that's the breakdown, and I'll leave it for Daisy to break down their interview style, because that's only for scientific affairs. So I'll let her talk about the global run.
Yeah, so essentially no presentation. It'll just be the traditional interview structure. Mine was an hour long, even though I didn't have the interview, the presentation part. But it was 30 minutes of questions. I think because it was pretty conversational, it took up a large portion of that hour. And then I just try to take up the last hour with as many questions as I had as possible. So come prepped with questions that are pertinent to your interviewers that you'll be speaking to, that reflect interests or projects that you might want to get involved in, and then that also reflect like both the Howard program, and then once you interview with Janssen, with their mission statement, with different campaigns that they're getting involved in, that they're launching, and things of that nature, and that should fill up the time for the most part. But yeah, that'd be my advice for those long format interview type of experiences.
And Alan, you also said therapeutic choice of your therapeutic area of your choice. For the scientific affairs, the therapeutic area is going to be pulmonary hypertension and retina. So even though yes, Janssen has portfolio in other therapeutic areas such as immunology and vaccines and cardiovascular metabolism, things of that nature. And if you want to, you can definitely communicate that you are interested in perhaps doing projects in those areas and networking with other fellows, because like I said, Janssen is a huge company. It's not just us there. There's also St. John Fellows and Rutgers. So you have the opportunity if you want to pursue other therapeutic areas, but the main therapeutic focus of at least the scientific affairs fellowship will be pulmonary hypertension and retina. That's the portfolio that you'll be supporting for the duration of it.
Great. So for the interview, will there be questions specific to the therapeutic area?
The presentation topic, yes, it is. Yeah. But it's not
clinical questions. It's not
yeah.
residency interview.
Yes,
so it's a
yes.
fellowship interview, so it's different.
Right.
I
Like
just
we
had
said,
to
we're
make
not
sure to brush up or not.
after you've done your soft interview, and if you get an email from us, you'll see like the topic. Of course, I'm not going to tell everyone what the topic is, because that wouldn't be fair. But if you would see that the presentation topic it's something doable. It will require you to put effort in it. Clearly, this is not something you can just throw together in the last minute and think, oh yeah, I'm an expert. But it's anyone that's completed a pharmacy degree program from a credit school could do it. I guarantee you. So yeah.
So if you got an email from us for an interview, start doing the research.
Yeah, start doing it now.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I think Sabrina, you had your hand raised.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry. Hi guys, nice to meet you. I'm Sabrina. I'm a 4th-year student from the University of South Florida, Tunisia College of Pharmacy. Thank you guys for all the advice. It's been really helpful. I had a question for Daisy. Just wanted to know what sort of like projects you've been involved in during your time.
Yeah. So I'm currently at Howard right now. I'm doing that component with the law school. And so a lot of it is more so just focused on, understanding federal law. We're doing, classes regarding legislation and regulation. We have a course with legal writing on top of like a writing lab, things of that nature. And then I think we also are doing a professional responsibility class, just understanding how lawyers engage in these, I guess, litigation type of spaces. So I haven't quite started my time with Janssen. Uh, oh, I haven't questioned my time with Janssen quite yet. But if you are interested in getting to know, message me on LinkedIn in January, and I can share some of my experiences with you. We can set up a Zoom meeting and just talk about that if you're interested.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And as far as applications, just want to chime in here. I know that some folks have submitted the applications. They're waiting on letters of recommendations. Our deadline is November 23rd. However, don't wait till then. I'm saying that because we started pre-screening. Depending on the positions that you applied for, you will be speaking to us again for another initial Zoom interview. So do not hold off because we've received a ton of applications, and you don't want to wait till the end because these are competitive positions. So those that have already put in their information, we applaud that. Go ahead and get your letters in as soon as you can. Even if you don't have everything in, submit an application. Let us know you're interested so that we can start to plan to have you involved in pre-screening.
And as a side note on that, for a scientific affair, we do rolling interview. So first come, first serve. So the sooner you submit the application, the better. I think, Sabrina, do you have another questions? I still see your hand raised. Okay, so I see patient hand raised.
Sorry, Vicky, do you mind if I just quickly add on to?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So just for Sabrina to add more to just the Howard component as well. We're working on a publication, since we're spending time at a law school learning legal writing, we want to incorporate that into that space. And then we also have the chance to get RAC certified. So the regulatory affairs certification is another component that they really pushed you to get completed by the end of your program, so that when you complete the program, that you are a very competitive fellow that is marketable for many jobs with Janssen, hopefully, and then also other companies as well. So that's another thing as well. So there are different variable and expensive opportunities that Howard provides that really kind of make you marketable, and that's not even talking about the things that you then get to engage in with the GRPI team. So yeah, just to add some more and just to give you more insight. But yeah.
And then Patience, you had your hand raised next.
Thank you for, sorry, this is my last question. I was just kind of curious,
Good.
for those of you, or if you know of someone who had like multiple offer during their, during their round, like how did you decided that this was the program you wanted to stick with? I mean, if hopefully that happened to all of us, we get like multiple offer, but I would just like to know like, why did you decide to go with this instead of others?
I can answer that. So something that I did, I'm a visual person. So when I had multiple offers, I created an Excel sheet and I broke down pros, cons, everything that I needed to do across the board because obviously you want to make the best informed decision for you. So for me, I had no problem relocating. In fact, I was itching to get away from home. So wherever I need to go, I have no responsibilities. I'll be on a plane. You just let me know where I need to be. So obviously relocation wasn't an issue for me. In fact, I was geek to come up north to be closer to New York and like this area. So that wasn't a problem. But for somebody, if you're not willing to relocate, or if you're not at least already located within this area, because like I said before, I'm from the South, so clearly I was gonna have to relocate, then that's like a big factor that you have to take into account. Also, the location of the area. I'm from South. I don't like the snow, but guess what? I'm clearly gonna have to get used to the snow and the cold, but the actual state that you may have to relocate. Also, there are some programs that may be hybrid where you can do it virtual, or like for our fellowship, we have X amount of days where we're in the office and then the rest we work from home. So maybe that hybrid aspect is very appealing. Um, I think another thing is just the company. I do think it's very important that when you're looking at this at the company, like Adeze said, does this align with the values that I want to be attached to for the next 2 years? Do I feel that company itself has a strong financial, not just financial portfolio, but just portfolio in general, because ultimately the goal is for postgraduate placement. Do I see, a retention of talent after I'm gone and I have the opportunity to um, reach out and connect with some of the fellows of the programs that I was interested in, and and I was able to talk to them. Like, what is it like? It's give me like an honest opinion about it. And then I mean, ultimately, also just like the fit of the interview, like the people that you're sitting on the phone call today. I had informational sessions where I'm gonna be honest. I was like, oh, they seem they don't seem like they're having a good time. If I'm just being honest, or it's just like, oh, like this doesn't seem like there's the energy, I guess, that you get from the people, because ultimately these are those who you're going to be interacting with, and I think that's equally as important. So I say all that to say is that um, I took all of those things into account, and when I really looked at it in regards to the offers that I wanted to be, I think it was also very important for me to be part of HBCU. So Howard was my fit in point blank period. I had no issues. And I think also the um, the fellowship itself aligned with things that I was interested in. I knew I wanted to be in scientific affairs. At the time, my dream job was an MSL role, so obviously I wanted something that has a medical affairs component. Our fellowship has 4 functional rotational areas. I don't think that's something that a lot of in fact, I don't think any of the fellowships that I applied for had such a wide variety and experience. That's a lot of experience built into 2 years. So all of that taking that into account, that was the key reasons why I wanted to be a part of this fellowship and why I chose this one. But I'll open it up for Vicky and Adeze to talk about why they specifically chose this program.
Yeah, certainly. I can chime in about that. Yeah, like first of all, why I choose this program is the rotation. The rotation is appealing. So like all 4 rotations are like the hot field for the industry. So it's like if you not find a job in med affair, you can fall in med info or even the hot new field like HEOR. So there's an opportunity within 2 years. You have like experience that you can talk over and over during your interview. And also Janssen company is like, so Janssen is like #1 pharmaceutical company. And then we have like not only pharmaceutical, if you want to extend to medical device, we have that one too. So and many locations and also Howard, of course, because the renown of Howard, the alumni, and all their commitments and vision align to um, my interest and my values. So that's why I choose this fellowship. And also, like you said, like how we do, like if you got several offers, for me, before like when I got an interview, I would rank them. So it's like what is #1, #2, #3, and then when you got offer, it will be easy. Like when you get a phone call, sometimes they give you like 2 or 3 days to make a decision because like if you still thinking, then move to the next one. So this is like it's very competitive position. So I'll let Daisy add on her opinion why she chose this program.
Yeah, I would honestly reiterate what both Amina said and Vicky said. I think personality connection is super important. Like how is that interaction? What is the connection and chemistry that you have with the people that you're interviewing? Super, super huge. I think there was like a natural kind of spark that I had during my interview just because I had work experience that also just happened to beautifully interconnect with people I was interviewing with, which just kind of felt meta in a way and kind of like, this is giving meant to be. So there was a little gold star that was attached to the Howard experience, or the Howard fellowship program. And then specifically, I feel like Howard does a really great job at making niche the programs that they offer, like super unique. Amina and Vicky have reiterated this time and time again, but the various rotational experiences that are offered is not something that you see with many other medical affairs or scientific affairs programs in other schools or that also offer fellowship programs. And then specifically looking at regulatory affairs, I have yet to see an opportunity that offers such a robust experience in regards to exposing you to the legal side of things, exposing you to policy making, creating, writing, regulatory writing, getting certified, offering financial backing to get certified, offering financial backing to get your NAPLEX completed, backing for the MPG. Like there's so much support with this program that I just wasn't hearing with other interviews that I'd had. And so with all those things being said, and then also being at an HBCU, I can't lie. I mean, you kind of hit it on the head there. Really just made this a standout opportunity for me, and it was something I just had to jump on. And some family lives out here too, so it's just things were getting better and better as I was analyzing my options, and so that's kind of what made me make the decision to come out here.
Yeah.
These are all great. I I'm actually kind of blushing, y'all. Because there's something we say. We say HU, you know, you get to learn
Oh wait,
that.
no, I was muted. Do it again. I was muted.
Okay, so if you're not muted, let's do it. Let's do it together. Okay. So when I say HU, you say you know. HU,
You
You
know.
know.
that is how proud we are of Howard University. And I would say that myself, Dr. Etienne, are truly committed to seeing you all grow. We are committed, we are transparent, we are direct. We listen to critical questions, we listen to feedback, because we want to make sure that this program contributes to your development and serves you well. You're going to be in your programs for 2 years, so you definitely want to be part of a community. You want to be part of a place that has the same value and also values your authenticity. So that is incredibly important. We have a lot of different experiences depending on the fellowships that you're going for, right? You also get a chance to get a PMP certification, so project management. That is, to me, essential for any of your business roles, right? You're going to be in corporate America, so you need that experience and training. So there's a lot that you can get out of this program. You definitely have to come prepared and come to excel and come to lead, because we want you to be integral leaders in biopharmaceuticals, in healthcare in the future. So that's why we're going to be investing in you, and we definitely need you to think about the commitment. And I will pause there. There are several other hands up. Sydney,
Let me brag
yes.
more about Howard a little bit. So, like the unique of Howard, we cover the location. So, like the purpose of us to find the best candidate. So this is unique. So not a lot of fellowship program do that. And also for the license, like we encourage you to get pharmacist license. And so that is special. Just want to put it out.
Thank you, Vicky. Yes, yes, we
You spent
strongly
all this
encourage
time.
it. We,
Yeah.
Yeah, you spend all this time in pharmacy school, get licensed, and if you're in a fellowship like Howard that's going to pay for it, why not? We didn't spend all this time to get all this clinical information drilled in us for it to just,
yeah.
go away
And
after
think
we cross the
about
stage.
doing it early. So the first 3 months of your fellowship, regardless of where you are, get licensed within that first 3 months, get it out the way, done. I told you I was in the industry for 10 plus years. I am licensed in Virginia. I'm going to maintain my license because it's so valuable. So that is important.
And I
Um,
see hand raised, right?
Sid-
I don't know who
Sydney,
first.
I think Sydney was first, and then Arjun was next. So yeah, I'll let Sydney go.
Yes, thank you. And thank you guys again for these wonderful tips. My name's Sydney. I am a fourth year student at Florida A&M University. So I'm loving this HBCU pride. And I had two questions. The first one was more towards like interview tips. How do you kind of combat nervousness and also that balance between having those planned STAR method answers and a conversation and making it more, I guess, authentic?
Yeah, I can chime in. So like for practice made perfect. So practice, practice, and practice. So for my strategies, I practice with my family. So like do over and over again until you get familiar with like it, like you can answer in your dream. Like if they ask a general question, you can answer it well. So that will reduce the anxiety. And then maybe like give like when you answer, give some example or maybe some like backup example, maybe because you might use the example in another question, so you don't want to use it again. So it's going to make you look like, oh, you already have one situation to answer all these questions. So give them backup, and yeah, just prepare.
So strategies that I did, I had an accountability partner. So all of my friends were residency bound. So obviously like my interview process was a little bit before, you know, the people who are interested in residency. So my friends did this nice little thing where they would call me at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 p.m. or some random Tuesday at 2 p.m. And I would and they would say, tell me about yourself, or tell me about a time where you had to overcome a barrier. It randomly, to the point where getting like I would not answer phone calls from anyone, but you have to be able to just spit it out like that. And I think the more, of course, you practice with people you're more comfortable with, also keep a level of professionalism, because obviously when you're in these interviews, you're not going to be talking to your best friend, but just the casual of having it just kind of flow. Practice is key. Also, I wrote a script the first time. Granted, do not read a script during these interviews. I know some of these are going to be like virtual, but we can tell. If you were someone that wears glasses, I can tell. Like it's very obvious. So do not bank on the fact like, oh, if I just slap a script on the screen, I'll be fine, because one, it's going to come off robotic, and two, it's just not going to go well, because you don't know what questions they're going to ask you. So how would you know which script to follow? So it's just best, you know, to just come in and be prepared to say it. But on the front end, have scripts, have 5 key stories. There's always going to be a question about probably strength and weaknesses. Every interview is going to ask you to tell them about yourself. If I ask anyone on this interview right now, tell me something about yourself, you need to be able to answer that. That's guaranteed. We're going to always open with, tell us about yourself. There's probably going to be a question about strength or weakness. Have a script. Have a way like you can eloquently communicate what that is. There's probably going to be a question about um like not able to make timelines, or your teamwork or collaboration questions. So all you, instead of trying to figure out what specific questions they're going to ask, you just need to have 5 key stories. In fact, I use the same interview answers for multiple interviews that I did, because I had 5 key stories that fit in the umbrella term that essentially they were asking me. So if you do that, have your script so that you can, or at least bullet points, so you know like key things you want to hit, and then have your friends on you like white on rice, and have them harass you at any time of the day. You'll be able to get into this interview as if it's a walk in the park, I guarantee you. But you get the most out of it how much you put in. So start practicing now. And I'll
Just
let
to
it
quickly,
say, yeah.
yeah, just to quickly add to that, I think for me, I think mentality and like keeping your mind in a certain, I guess, state is important, in the sense that you have to really remember that you're engaging with like human beings who like have a sense of humor and who have families and friends. And I think that takes the level of anxiety a little bit down. It's hard to remember because it's like I've done months and months of work, like this is life or death almost. It feels that way, like it triggers your fight or flight in that way. But if you kind of level it and normalize it by thinking about the fact that you're engaging with human beings who, yes, have these big titles, but really are at the core just people, it allows you to just naturally converse with them like you would someone who you meet in a hallway and you're introducing yourself to, or you meet in an elevator and you're giving your elevator pitch or speech to. And that just helps for them to connect with you as a person, because the artificiality can be sensed in a sense, and I think will give you grace because they know it's high stakes, it's an interview. But if you can kind of circumvent that or go over that that temptation to want to be artificial, they'll connect with that and really remember you for that personability. So yeah, just a mindset shift is important too.
Well said. I think you guys are giving a lot of pointers that I feel like this needs to go to all the candidates that are interested in fellowships. One word that I just want to touch on, grace. Realize that you're being chosen for interviews for a reason, right? So it's not, there are many people that are applying, but you're being chosen for an interview because we want to know more about you. You will be nervous. Like that is something that even the best promotional, motivational speaker gets nervous. Know what works best for you, right? You've been in situations before that you've been nervous. How did you overcome that? And also, read the room. If you're feeling anxious and you know that these folks are genuinely like caring about you, let them know, I'm so nervous because I really want this. I want this so bad. I'm nervous. And that helps to break the ice a bit. So, think about how you can circumvent some of those nerves because, yeah, sometimes you do all the preparation and you still get in the room and you should still have like, your chest is pounding, you want to run out the room, but figure out what works best for you and utilize that and give yourself grace. You will be fine. Even if you mess up, keep going. Keep going, be resilient. We're also looking for that.
I also wanted to add one more note, and then I'll let Arjun get his question. Um, things happen. Take a breath. I had an interview where quite literally the electricity, when it was a big storm, and it shut off mid-interview. And because it was time, I had to call in. So just word of advice, a lot of these places are going to be virtual, and these interviews are going to be in virtual. Make sure in a place that has good internet. Things happen. If for whatever reason you get disconnect, make sure you have the call in to call in on your phone. So be prepared for that because your nerves are going to be wrecked, and if it happens, like, oh my God, I'm like, what do I do? But yeah, but you're human. Take it, question by question. These are real people. So yeah. But I think Arjun.
Arjun, yeah.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. My name is Arjun. I'm a fourth year student pharmacist from the University of Pittsburgh. I just want to say I really appreciate all the advice. It's been super useful. I do have two questions. One is more of a general question. I was hoping someone could kind of just speak to a bit of the mentorship aspects of, the fellowship program and kind of how the Janssen program helps you develop as a professional, and if they do anything also to help you develop as a person. And then I did also have a specific question for Daisy afterwards.
Yeah, sure. I can answer that. And like, I see your dog. Yes, I'm a dog lover too. That's why I have to say hi to him. Right? Okay. So for the mentor, so I can answer for scientific affair program. So you have 4 rotations. So you have at least 4 preceptors who you can ask questions. So like for Janssen, what good at about Janssen? Janssen develop you not only professional, that also develop you for like the personals, help you extend the networking. So for Janssen, we have a program, a unique program called mentorship program that you can link to any level in Janssen to be your mentor. So like this, they will ask you like your interest and they will match you with anyone in Janssen. So you can just build your network. And also we have so many meetings that you can like meet with fellow from another school that you can build the network, or maybe one-on-one, use your fellow card that you want to learn more about their position, want to learn more about them, and then just start building the connection from there. Yeah, so there's a lot of development program along the way, including Howard. You have like a lot of program, like you can get PMP that help you in the future, PMP certificate, and also many more to go.
All right, thank you for that answer.
And and I was just gonna add on to it. Your preceptors or your managers, they really do care, and they care not only about your professional development, but also you as a person. They make an effort for all of us to hang out as like a team and as a family. Heck, I went to a Blackpink concert with one of my managers with them and their families. Like it's very it's very personable, and it feels like home. So again, even though you are, yes, in a professional environment and your main goal is to deliver and perform on these fellowship programs, these people you're going to be spending the majority of the time out of 24 hours of a day with these people. So it's going to be they take high priority in making sure that you are taken care of, not just as a fellow, but also a member of the team and the family. So yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead with the part of your question.
No, I appreciate you adding that on. So, another thing I was wondering about, especially given the recent point you all made about really stressing getting that pharmacist license, This is more a specific question for Adeze in regulatory affairs, but how do you see that having that clinical background really helps you? Given that this is a position that can be filled by PhDs or other people who don't have that background. How does that help set you apart? And how do you stay in touch with that clinical side?
Yeah, that's a really, really, really great question. And I think it's even something I'm working through even now. In figuring out what functional area I wanted to do, I definitely wanted to keep and hold my clinical experience and knowledge and be in a space that would allow me to utilize that as well and keep it fresh and keep it sharp. Um, Specifically looking at, the regulatory affairs space, it's more so about, working with federal agencies, the FDA, for example, and making sure that drugs are safe and effective for patient use. So it's submitting NDAs, BLAs, things of that nature. But because there is such a heavy partnership and connection with the drug safety space, right? So you're looking at adverse drug events, you're looking at side effects and things of that nature. In regards to reporting and making sure that you're presenting the fullest drug profile to these FDA or to these agencies, the FDA or the EU, for example, if you're working with European nations, having an understanding of that clinical information is really key just to stay on top of conversations that are being had during team meetings. And once again, I'm speaking as someone who still hasn't even stepped into the spaces. So just talking to people who are in reg affairs spaces and what they've told me about that. If you have that clinical knowledge, if you understand the importance of drug-drug interactions or the importance of, adverse drug events, it just gives you a better, bird's eye view of what needs to go into, the drug preparation, sort of packets that go to these federal agencies. And it gives you language for the conversations that are being had or language to even engage in those conversations. But like I said, I think when I step into that space and actually have opportunities where I'm engaging in those submissions, I think that importance will be even more highlighted. But as someone who's kind of just stepping into the space now and doing my own personal research, that's kind of been the way that I've reconciled with myself that my clinical experience will still be of use to some capacity, even in the reg affairs space. And then also, if you enjoy law, which that was something I was considering as well in the past, it was just a perfect little kind of partnership there. But yeah, the clinical experience is definitely something that I wanted to keep and make sure that it was as sharp as possible. And I think that you'll get that opportunity even as a reg affairs professional. So I hope that helps. Hope that provides some insight. But
No, that was definitely a very useful answer. Thank you for that, and also good luck with actually moving into the Janssen part of everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And one thing to add, I know that we're right now thinking about getting into a fellowship program or position. Try to think 5-10 years from now. And, you can't predict everything. So you may even decide to have a career change. One thing I've been trying to articulate to fellows is don't limit your future with decisions that you make now. Okay. Try to be expansive. Try to think about, okay, if, for example, pharma companies lay off folks, where can I get a job? I have a license. Yes. Right. We just experienced a very significant pandemic, right? That impacted a lot. Pharmacists were at the front lines of that. So think about expanding your horizon beyond now. You can't predict what's going to happen. So definitely make decisions and choose opportunities that will give you more opportunities in the future. So having your license prepares you for that. I know that folks that don't have their license, they're kind of, pigeonholed into one area. You don't want to do that. So don't make your decisions limit your future. Make them give you more opportunities in the future. Okay.
Yeah, and chime in a little bit. Just get a license right now is easier than get 3 years after this because knowledge is changed every day. So do it when still fresh if you want to do it. All right. Any other questions? If not, I think it's a good time. We passed our schedule for a while, but it's a good conversation. And like feel free to connect to us if you have any additional questions, or feel free to connect to us via LinkedIn.
I'm
And
gonna share the screen that has
our email.
our emails on it. And
Look, I want to thank everybody for being here. You spent almost 2 hours with us, an hour and a half. So thank you so much for that. We're looking forward to speaking with you all, to meeting you. I recognize some names. So I'm looking forward to hearing your stories. And I really do appreciate you all taking the time to join us today.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a
Have a
great
good night.
evening.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Let's see. Do I have 2 more? You still here, German? Let me end her. Hi, German. Okay. All right. Hi, Diamond. Hi, Caffrey. Yeah. Okay. Let me
Hey.